Hey everyone. So if you're in IT or even just starting out, you know that Linux systems are basically giant text-generating machines. Learning how to cut through all that noise and find what you're looking for, well, it isn't just a nice-to-have skill, it's absolutely essential to being good at your job. Today, we're going to break down exactly how you can become a master of that data.
So here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to talk about the big problem every admin runs into. Then, we'll build up your essential toolkit and give it some serious superpowers with regular expressions, or Regex. After that, we'll dive into some real-world situations you'll actually face on the job. And finally, we'll wrap it all up by showing you how to talk about these skills in a way that will absolutely nail your next job interview.
All right, first things first, let's set the stage. To really get why these tools are so powerful, you have to feel the pain they solve. And trust me, it's a pain every single Linux administrator knows all too well. Does this look familiar? Come on, you know it does. You run a command, you check a log file, and bam, you're hit with this just wall of text. Trying to find that one critical error, that one line in a config file, it feels like you're searching for a needle in a haystack, right? This data overload is exactly what we are here to fix.
So, how do we start to fight back against all this chaos? Well, we start with our core filter toolkit. Think of these as your first, and honestly, your most important line of defense against being buried in data. And I really want to be clear here. These are not some obscure, once-in-a-while commands. Nope, this is your bread and butter. This is what you'll be using every single day. If you're serious about this field, getting these down is completely non-negotiable. They're your daily drivers.
Okay, let's look at the toolkit. Each one of these is a specialist. You've got grep, which is like your text detective. It finds lines that match a pattern. You have awk and cut, which are like surgeons, pulling out just the specific columns of data you need. And sed is your workhorse editor for making changes on the fly. But you know what? The real magic, the secret sauce, is when you chain them together. Look at that sort/unique example. That little pipe symbol, pipe, takes a messy log file and turns it into a clean, counted report. That idea, piping the output of one command into the next, is the foundation of pretty much everything we're about to do.
Okay, so if those core commands are your basic workshop tools, how do we upgrade to the power tools? That's where Regex comes in. You should think of regular expressions as the high-precision, laser-guided attachments that give commands like grep absolute superpowers.
And this shows the difference perfectly. On the left, a simple search just finds the lowercase error. But what if the log capitalizes it because it's at the start of a sentence? You'd miss it completely. Now look at the right. With that tiny bit of regex, just those square brackets, you're telling grep, hey, I don't care if it's a capital E or a lowercase e, just find the word error. Instantly, your search is smarter, more accurate, and a whole lot more useful.
Now, if there's one thing to really get about Regex, it's this. It is not a command. It is a language. It's a special grammar that you use to describe any text pattern you can possibly think of, from a simple word all the way up to something as complex as an IP address or an email.
And here are some of the basic building blocks of that language. For instance, the little caret and the $sign, think of them like anchors. They lock your search to the very beginning or the very end of a line, which is so useful in log files. We already saw the square brackets in action. The cool thing is, by just combining a few of these simple operators, you can build incredibly powerful and precise search patterns.
All right, theory is great, but let's get our hands dirty. This is where we bridge that gap between just knowing the commands and actually knowing how to solve problems with them, which, by the way, is exactly what a hiring manager wants to see. Let's tackle some real-world situations.
Okay, here's the classic. A web server log is just filled with IP addresses. You need to pull all of them out. Maybe you're looking for some suspicious activity. Trying to do this by hand? Forget about it. It's impossible. So how do we do it?
And there's our solution. Now, I know that looks a little scary, but let's break it down real quick. All we're telling grep is to look for a pattern. Find a number between 1 and 3 digits long, followed by a literal dot. And then that whole group repeats 3 more times. And what does that describe? An IP address. This one single line of code can scan a massive log file in seconds and pull out exactly what you need.
Here's another one you will do all the time. You're troubleshooting a live issue. You need to watch a log file as it grows so you can see new errors pop up the second they happen.
Right here is one of the most powerful and common command combos in any sysadmin's toolkit. Tail-F basically just follows a file, printing out new lines as they get added.
We then use that pipe symbol to funnel that live output straight into grep, which acts as a filter, only showing us the lines with error in them. Just like that, you built your own custom live error monitoring console.
Okay, let's take this one step further. Staring at a screen is one thing, but real professional system administration is all about automation. So how can we build a script that automatically checks for errors and then does something about it, like maybe send us an alert?
This simple little if statement is the heart and soul of that automation. That grep quite queue part runs quietly in the background, it doesn't print anything out, it just returns a hidden status code of success if it finds a match. The if statement just checks for that success, and if it gets it, it runs whatever commands are inside. Here, it's just printing a message, but it could just as easily be sending an email or restarting a broken service. This is how you level up from the command line to creating automated solutions.
Okay, let's bring this all home. You're sitting in a job interview, or maybe you're just trying to show your boss you know your stuff. What are the key points you absolutely have to nail?
First off, showing that you know how to troubleshoot is just as impressive as writing a perfect command on the first try. Knowing things like, oh, I need to use single quotes to protect my regex, or knowing that you should filter with a simple tool like grep before you pipe it into something heavy like awk to make it faster. These are the little details that show you're not a beginner. They show you're a pro.
So let's boil it all down. When you're in that interview, you really just have to prove 4 things. 1, you can combine the core tools to get things done. 2, you're fluent in regex and can build patterns to find exactly what you need. 3, you know how to fix a command when it breaks. And finally, and this is the most important one, you can explain how you'd use all this to solve actual real-world problems, just like the ones we just walked through.
So there you have it. We've talked about the problem, we've covered the tools, and we've seen how to apply them all the way from the command line to full-blown automation. Honestly, these concepts are the bedrock of being a great Linux administrator. You have the toolkit now. The only real question left is, what problem are you going to go solve first?